I, Kithure Kindiki,
in full realization of the high calling,
in full realization of the high calling,
I assume as Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya,
I assume as Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya,
Your Excellency, Abraham Kithure Kindiki, I am proud to witness the swearing in of the Honorable Abraham Professor Kithure Kindiki as the third Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya under the 2010 Constitution.
Is it true that Kindiki was slapped? If yes, who slapped him? Is it Ruto or Prof Kithure? And why would one slap Kenya sitting DP? Well, in this video, we are going to reveal if it's true or not.
Excellency, I want to rephrase Michelle's question regarding you and the former Deputy President. Let's not even go with the qualitative differences. But clearly there are lessons you must have learned from Gachagua's tenure in office. What lessons are those?
You know, my friend, you know, in leadership is defined by certain ethos and parameters. And I want to persuade you to allow me not to discuss my brother, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, because he's my friend. And you've not heard me bad-mouthing him anywhere before when he was in this office or even after he left office. So please spare me, because it is not right. It is wrong to start comparing myself with the predecessor or someone who occupied this office now or in the past, or a person who would occupy it in the future. Are you being
cautious, Your Excellency? The region you come from is very restive, and it's quite a significant, it has quite a significant position in terms of votes. Are you being cautious now when I ask you the question of lessons you've learned? Are you being cautious not to antagonize the former Deputy President?
I have no reason to antagonize anybody. For what?
Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, perhaps just to buttress on what John Kithure said, when it comes to lessons learned, many have said that the seat that you occupy now, the deputy presidency, has some sort of curse. They've called it the curse of the deputy presidency. And every individual who's held this seat has had some sort of, you know, falling into political oblivion. Do you believe that you have the magic wand to change this so-called curse of the deputy?
I don't believe any seat is cursed. Let's start from there. Secondly, I don't think it is a priority to start thinking whether I will survive in this seat or not. As I have said, what is weighing in my mind, the same way when I became Interior Minister and the North Rift was in that shape, Lamu, Boni was in that shape, and Northern Kenya was that shape. I told myself, including the passport crisis, I said, if I will last here for 1 year, I want to try my best and have these challenges under control. So for me, I cannot start now entertaining myself on what will happen to me, whether I'll succeed here or there. That's not for me to determine.
Some other Kenyans claim that when Kindiki was asked about why not defending government programs, he said he can't support abductions of young people. That response made his boss angry, and before he knew it, he could not see properly because of electric slap on his face. Thank you for turning in. We are about to get deeper. But before we can do that, please take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment. What do you think about Ruto and Kindiki relationship? Thank you guys. Now let's get deeper.
Has been entrusted with a very serious and grave national responsibility. What is weighing in my mind now and what is really, really occupying me is the desire to discharge those obligations, because the expectations of the people of Kenya, the expectations of the president are so high. If I started occupying myself with ideas of what will happen, I don't know when, I'll be the most unsuitable person to be seated before you today.
After about 60 days in office, Deputy President, Prof Kithure Kindiki is on the spotlight. Although he has only received payment as DP for 2 months since his elevation, Kindiki has been conspicuously missing from public events, leaving his boss, William Ruto, to appear in public events without his principal assistant. On November 1st last year, while heaping accolades to the professor of law, Ruto narrated "Lonely" he had been for 2 years after falling out with Rigathi Gachagua. Kindiki's last public appearance was around December 17th when he accompanied the president to Baringo Cultural Festival and Kimalel goat auction, where he pledged that he would continue working under him, while the president gave a detailed speech on the successes of his administration and offered hope as top leaders danced into the new year at the Kisii State Lodge. Kindiki only scripted a one-line message.
Then what's your relationship between you and the ousted, impeached deputy president?
As it was before.
Are you friends or not?
We are good people, we're good friends. I have no reason to complain in the past, present, and even in the future.
Was there a handover?
Yes.
An official handover?
Was there an official handover?
There wasn't an official handover because the former deputy president is in court. You wouldn't expect him to hand over if he's in court.
Your Excellency, which IEBC cleared you? Did you take your papers there? How were you cleared by the IEBC?
There is no requirement to clear a deputy president who ascends to office by virtue of Article 145 read together with 150.
But the
What requires the clearance of IBC is the president and the deputy president in an election.
The president's memo to Parliament, Your Excellency, indicated that your
no
nomination
election.
was cleared by IEBC.
There was no election. I assumed office through a process different from a process following an election.
Is it an indictment of the judiciary, Your Excellency? Because the former deputy president, through a court process, is actually outside. We have the governor of Meru, who is in office, even through a similar process. What kind of jurisprudence is that creates two forms of justice in your own understanding? And this is from a point of view as a law professor.
First, the two cases you have cited were beneficiaries of court injunctions. The only difference is in one, after the inter partes hearing of the matter around whether or not the injunction should be preserved. In one case, the court found that the injunction needed to be lifted. In the second case, which also there has been an injunction, the court found yesterday that there is no need to lift the injunction. That's the only difference. And it happens in courts all the time, not just in Kenya, all over the world. In fact, the finding of one court is in many cases overturned by the next court the following day. So there is no inconsistency whatsoever. That is judicial practice. A judge, even one bench of 3 judges, one judge will say this, 2 other judges will say different things, on the same subject matter, same articles, same evidence, same parties. That's how. That's the independence of the judiciary is not just institutional. It is individual, it's decisional. Every judge carries decisional independence.
Your predecessor, Your Excellency, says the reason you ascended to this position is because you are a yes man. You cannot mount any challenge whatsoever to the president. I'm putting this question to you tonight. Are you your own man? Are you a yes man?
I am my own man. On the second issue, I would like to respond as follows. My understanding of the role of the deputy president is not to challenge the president. It is not in the Constitution. It is not in any law. It is not in any practice. That is not the job description of the Deputy President. As to whether the Deputy President can advise the President, the answer is yes. The oath of office I took has a clause that asks me to faithfully advise the President when my advice is sought.
So then where does your allegiance lie? To the people or your appointing authority?
My allegiance lies on the oath of office I took. You look at the oath of office, it will tell you where my allegiance is.
And are you proud of the
people of Kenya, to the nation and the national interest, and when my counsel is sought by the President, I must give it faithfully. And faithfully doesn't mean that I do it on the podium.
Does it
but
mean
it means I have to be faithful, and faithfully means it could be different from what the President thinks.
DP, are you proud of the manner in which you became Deputy President? In 2022, you were a front runner to be running mate to Dr. William Ruto, but you did not get that position. And you actually said you were going to take a break from politics. Are you now proud that 2 years down the line, you are the one who has taken that position after the impeachment on the person who was picked over you?
I have no regrets for my occupying this space, because I've no reason to regret. It is true I was a front runner to be Deputy President in 2022 through a process that was conducted by my party. I was not successful. My brother, Rigathi Gachagua, was successful. I congratulated him, and I said two things. One, that I will support the campaign, the presidential campaign, until 8th or 9th of August 2022. And after that, I will take a break from elective and appointive positions.
But you still took the CS
Just a moment.
position.
Just a moment. After I made those two very important decisions, which I made after soul searching and consulting everyone who needed to be consulted, my party and its leadership met and persuaded me as a member of the party, because I didn't say I'll leave the party. I said I'll campaign for President Ruto and his deputy, but after that I'll not be running for any office. I'll take a break for 10 years. And therefore, the party met and persuaded me to change my mind and accept an appointive position as Minister for Interior, which I accepted. That's all.
Are you the kingpin of the Mount Kenya region?
Which office is that?
Of course, you were endorsed.
You were endorsed by a section of members from majorly the East, where you hail from. You never dismissed that.
Which office is that?
Your Excellency, other than the kingpin issue, there are a majority of members of parliament who met in Nanyuki from the Mount Kenya region, that is before you ascended to the office of Deputy President, and endorsed yourself as their link in government. You have ascended to that office now. Are you now, have you ceased being their link?
Maybe you should ask them. Because I think the members of parliament, because I didn't say it, they said it. So maybe they can say it again if they wish, but to the best of my recollection, those members of parliament had expressed frustrations in getting their constituency development agenda through to government because of the breakdown of relationship they had with the former occupier of this office. And therefore, they asked me whether I could convey their needs to the president. And because I was a member of the cabinet, I saw no problem with that. But whether or not they will continue asking me to convey their messages, it's up to them to decide.
You come from that region. Sir, you come from that region, the Mount Kenya region. Tharaka Nithi, where you come from, is nestled in Mount Kenya region. I want to know, because Kenya Kwanza had promises it made towards the people of that region. So who will be pushing for the implementation of these promises?
That region, like other regions in Kenya, has very many elected leaders. The office I occupy now as Deputy President is an office of the Republic. Unlike other leaders, for example, who have a subnational mandate. And therefore, the way I see it is that the people from the region you're referring to, which happens to be where I was born and raised, have a right, just like the people from the coast, Western, Nyanza, Rift Valley, Northeastern. They have a right to use this office, because it's a national office, to channel their needs, interests to the government. So I see no contradiction, I see no change of position, and the only thing I don't understand is this thing about the kingpin or something. I don't understand it, because there is no office like that.
Well, and are you still hopeful, and do you think there is a possibility of you becoming William Ruto's running mate come 2027?
How would I know?
Your Excellency, then you've talked about development and, those members of parliament using this office to lobby for development. Shouldn't then development be a democratic right, so that then there is no need to lobby and to push for it?
That's not true. The reason you have subnational representation of political leaders, members of the National Assembly, members of the Senate, their mandate is subnational. A member of the National Assembly represents the interests, priorities of the constituency where they are elected. Of course, in the context of a broader national perspective, because some of the things that they want them passed are not projects and programs, they are legislative in nature, and you require the parliament as a whole to support you. For example, recently we had a Sugar Act sponsored by a member of parliament from Western Kenya, where sugar is mostly grown. But it required the votes of the member for the members from Northeastern Coast, where there's no sugar, and Central, to pass it. So the point is this: it is not true to say that a member of parliament does not need to articulate the interest of their people, because they are elected purposely for that. They are elected to articulate those interests and convey them either to the executive, to the legislature, and make sure that those interests at that local level are realized.
During your inauguration, when you took oath of office, your boss, the President, Dr. Ruto, said he felt he was a lone voice in the executive. From your interaction, 50 days in, is he still a lone voice? And perhaps you interact with him, he's your boss.
I really don't know.
Do you think you're
fulfilling? I really don't know.
Do you think you're fulfilling
how he's feeling?
Yeah.
Because again, that's not in my place. I wouldn't know how he's feeling at the moment. All I can say is that I'm doing my best to do my constitutional duty. That constitutional duty is being principal assistant to the president, and also helping him in the delegated assignments that he has given me, and I'm doing my best. How he's feeling now, I cannot be, it's not in my place to tell you how happy he is.
Do you think he's confident of what you're doing? Is he happy with your work?
I think so. I have no reason to doubt that he's confident.
You've been deputy president for only 50 days now. What would you say is the qualitative difference between you and the former deputy president, given that the operating environment hasn't changed?
It would be very improper for me to start comparing myself with my brother, the second deputy president.
My dear Professor Kindiki, I need your voice. I need your intellect. to help me and to help members of our cabinet to profile the things we are doing, to speak to the things that we are doing. I have almost become a lonely voice in the executive, especially in the presidency, speaking about our projects, speaking about our programs, elaborating on what we are doing. You are eloquent, my brother. You're intelligent, my brother. I am confident that you will do that which I have missed for the last 2 years.
Happy, blessed, and joyous 2025. God bless your families. God bless Kenya. He posted on X at around 12:13 a.m. yesterday, signing off with words, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Although Kindiki was unreachable, his handlers claimed he was in South Africa for a holiday, while he had instructed his officers to go on leave since December 23rd. We were given 15 days leave before the boss left for South Africa for leave. Remember, he has not rested since the Kenya Kwanza administration took over, and he needed to rewind. An officer who requested anonymity told the Standard. At the same time, he dismissed the online speculations associating Kindiki's absence in public with bad blood between him and Ruto aides over the independence of the office of the Deputy President office, saying, "Those are baseless allegations. The Deputy President is in good terms with his boss, and he doesn't need to justify that through public meetings. Many are the times they even held private engagements. The DP operates that way sometimes without the full glare of cameras." Responding to Kindiki's message, lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi said, "In Kenya's politics, it always wise to sob and cry loud in public, a la DP William Ruto, DP Gachagua, etc. At least your friends and neighbors will run to your side. Never snivel and sniffle in the dark. You will just trouble mama and the kids with your problems." Former Mukurweini MP responded to the lawyer's message. "Happy New Year, my Rafiki Grand Mullah. You have the pulse of your beloved buddy WSR, William Samoei Ruto. Can you hint on this day 1? What his chart is on first Kindiki's exit? 2. Mainan Jenga's plan. We will appreciate it more than you love your camels. And please no comics or sideshows." Abdullahi relied, "Contrary to what you and many believe, I have no idea what he William Ruto's thinking on a given issue ose. As you know, I do not work for him. I am not in his government. I am not in his kitchen cabinet. I just comment on issues, once in a while. But you obviously know that William is a foxy and supremely guileful political operator. This is not the first time that Kindiki was taking a break from politics. On May 16, 2022, after Gachagua was picked to be Ruto's running mate in the 2022 general election, he said, "I have reflected on how I will utilize my break. After prayerful reflection and consultation, I have decided that I will not be seeking any appointive opposition whatsoever." What do you think about Ruto and Kindiki relationship? Do you think he was slapped? We have come to an end of this video. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. Thank you for turning in. Let's meet in our next video. Good luck.